Step 12, spending money. When you follow this part of the guide, the benefit you're going to get is that soon when you go to the store, you won't ever need to look at the price for pretty much anything again. And that's a really calming experience. You'll also be able to buy some things that other people will look at, and you'll get some sense of status with that if that's the thing that you care about. But more importantly, you will get the freedom that you've desired all this time. You'll be able to invest in your growth by buying the right things at the right time, which many other people don't do. You see, the average guy gets a little bit of money, but then he wastes it on low quality status symbols. He gets a car on finance. He goes and eats like takeaway or something, and he has nothing to really show for it. Whereas for us, we're going to go down a different path. We're going to use money to put our trajectory on even more of a fast track. So there are 5 levels to spending money, 5 things that you can spend your money on. This is in my opinion, and I'm sure everyone else will disagree, but I will just tell you about the things that have served me. And if you're anything like me, then your experiences will probably be similar. Level 0, material objects for status. This is the car, the watch, the fancy apartments, the fancy branded clothing. This can be fine, and you will get like status by buying this. So for example, if you've been leveling up your business and you go and buy like the Rolex that you've really wanted, or you go and upgrade your wardrobe, you will get noticed more. You will get more validation and acceptance from more people. That's 100% the case. The reason why I'd argue that that isn't so great is that in general, only unintelligent people validate you when you buy some kind of status object. The kind of person who's actually on your level, when you think about the kind of thinking that you do, the values that you have, the man of character that you've become, the truth is that only people who are far below you in terms of intelligence and values will actually look up at you when you've got like the branded t-shirt. It absolutely will happen. More like degenerate women will want to have sex with you. But when you take a step back and you think to yourself, okay, I'm not going to just indulge in my little monkey impulse here. Is it actually a good thing? Is it a good thing that more common people like you now? It can be nice to feel socially involved. I'm not saying you've got to, hate everyone or anything, but it's just unintelligent people who will like you more because you've bought something that they think is expensive, which elevates your status in their eyes. What I have found, which is very interesting, which the people who buy these objects don't speak about, the most intelligent people that I know never validated me with every single material purchase I ever had. When I got like the fancy apartment in Dubai, which was $10,000 a month, when I've had like the fancy clothing, the $400 shirt, whatever, like obviously there's levels to this, and some rich guy might be watching this thinking, oh, $400 shirt, that's not even that expensive, but it's all relevant, right? The intelligent people that I know never validated me for it. And yet when I downscaled my life, when I was making $20,000 a month and I moved back in with my parents so that I could focus on my business, every intelligent person that I knew on WhatsApp, they actually validated me for it. It's so interesting because what I found is truly like smart people know exactly the issues with spending on like material objects, that we know that it's like this, it's almost like this low level desire that you're really hoping that someone else like looks at you. Now you can certainly do it, and there's always going to be a cope that a lot of people will have thinking, no, Hamza, I really like the watch, I really want that car. Absolutely. If there's something that you've got like this massive interest in, and you really are like super interested in this certain car, then like, who am I to tell you to go otherwise if that's what you truly desire? I would just ask you to take a step back and really just be honest to yourself. Is it for yourself? Is it actually because you genuinely want that? Or is it as pathetic as like you literally just want to see someone's head turn towards you, and that's what will make it all worthwhile? Because most of the guys who are really obsessed with a certain material object, like the watch or the car or the apartment or whatever, for most of them, it isn't about the utility of the thing. It isn't about the real value of the thing. It's kind of like a band-aid over the childhood trauma of like a lack of unconditional love. It's so sad to say that, but it is the case. And I don't mean to like psychoanalyze anyone, but it is the case. That's why we chase these material objects, because we just want to feel welcomed in our society, which is really sad because you probably spent like a month of your life just trying to get that watch, and now you've got some dumb girl who's more into you, when the actual girl who's on your level, who's an intelligent woman, who's well educated, she's going to think that you're kind of like insecure and lame for having that. Would you want the female equivalent of you? Would you want the woman who gets a breast job because more guys will turn towards her? Then why would you be the guy with the car? It's the same thing. The truth is that the spiritual people are absolutely right. When you see there's like two kinds of people in society, there's the material people, just the normal person, the average guy who goes to the 9-to-5 job, but also the entrepreneurs, the rich guys, the athletes, the people who are like here in this real world trying to make money and success. And then there's those spiritual people who've got a lot of faith, a lot of belief, who've got a lot of alignment to their values. And for example, it's like who you could imagine, like if you've seen Wim Hof or David Data, the author of The Way of the Superior Man, or any deeply religious people like imams, for example, these people are absolutely right when they tell you that these material desires won't amount to anything other than actual pain and frustration in life, that the true path to happiness and enlightenment and like sort of a positive life experience doesn't come from random objects that you can buy from someone else, but it comes through like your alignment to something that feels important to you, maybe God, maybe love, maybe light, as a lot of spiritual people say, like we are all beings of light and that's what we should pursue. So if you are absolutely certain there is some material object, the clothes, the car, whatever, that is you are like, yeah, 100% I'm buying that. What I would say is just limit it to about 5 to 10% of your profits. So if you genuinely profit, not just get money in, but profit from your business, like minus your expenses of business. If your profit is like 10,000 a month, you could maybe get like $1,000 like purchase, which is about status, maybe, which means that you can't even get the fancy apartment, which is, 5K, 7K, whatever. In my most stressful, unhealthy and unhappy time when I moved to Dubai, my business's profit was barely like 10K, and I was using that on the apartments and the clothing and everything. My cash was quite high. It was, it was like 40K, but we were reinvesting that back into the business. And it just makes you a weak entrepreneur when you have this like materialistic lifestyle. Now, I know you're probably thinking of the entrepreneurs out there, like I'll name them, like Iman and Tate, who are quite materialistic. They've got the fancy objects, but they're amazing at business at the same time. What I will say from what I can see is like these men are the outliers. They absolutely are. They are like the outliers. What you're not seeing is through the survivorship bias is the amount of people who have the same materialistic tastes as these men, but who didn't make it. So this is more credit to these men to show how amazing they are, but also like less credit to like the average folk who also, for example, wants the same like cars. And you've seen the entrepreneur, you're thinking, yeah, Tate's so cool with his car and everything and this, and the watch, Iman with his watches. Chances are, if we're just being honest, most of the people who have the same desires end up in absolute ruin. Just because you see this one guy who's been able to manage it doesn't actually mean that you will. Now, of course, we want to have like powerful beliefs about ourselves, but we also need to be rational to think that the disease of materialism has claimed the lives of a lot of disciplined, hardworking people. These aren't average people that you're competing against. When you think of like the top level athletes who literally became too materialistic and they lost it all and became bankrupt, they were more disciplined than you could ever hope to be. So don't believe that, oh yeah, it won't happen to me. I won't waste all my money in my business or my athletic career just goes to shit because of the headache caused by my incessant desire of status objects. If you're really interested in this, there's a video on my channel which is called Don't Make This Mistake When You Get Rich, and I've explained it in about a 2-hour Loom presentation, like a screen recording of me just talking and showing you pictures of the stuff I bought, the people I met, and the experience I had in Dubai, and like how materialistic that side of like that part of the world is. And every step that I've taken towards this materialistic object has just been a wasted step. It's been a waste of time. And often I've noticed that it's actually reduced my health at the same time, which is just, it's unacceptable. Every step that I've taken towards the spiritual path has improved my health, my happiness, my love, has improved even my productivity, my contribution to others. So that's just the lesson I'd give you there is, I would say this is a level 0 purchase. Buy if you must, if you've got some addiction to this thing. But I would love to like see you almost psychoanalyze yourself and think, you know what, actually, if I'm being honest, the reason why I want to buy this thing is because I just keep thinking about this girl from high school that if I ended up driving the car past my city, she might look at me, and how fucking sad that is that I'd go and spend the next year of my life with this desire. Just hopefully that like some girl from high school might pay more attention to me. A lot of it comes down to that. The second level of things you can buy is with travel. Experiences are shown statistically to give you like a better feeling of happiness than objects are. So what this means is getting the holiday, like the travel experience to a different country, will actually serve your life more than buying an item. So I would actually support you in this decision of like, if you've saved up a few thousand and you want to go to like, I don't know, Europe or this other country or this country, you want to book this Airbnb, that will actually serve you mostly because of the learning lessons that arise when you go traveling. When you leave your home, the environment that you're used to, and you go somewhere else, especially if it's for quite a long period of time, and especially if you're quite social when you go there, you'll get a bunch of learning lessons and realizations that you might not have gotten if you stayed at home. One realization like that could be worth tens of thousands of dollars. Like it could be like, you know, something that you implement for your business that could be worth thousands. It could be something that you realize about your purpose, about your direction in life, that could be worth, like, it could be priceless. So basically every trip that I've been on, I've had quite a good realization that has been extremely valuable. But I'm going to sound a bit odd here, but I actually have quite unique views towards traveling. I believe that the travel industry, by the way, the travel industry is like a 700 billion or even $1 trillion industry, like, you know, the planes, the flights, the hotels, everything, right? I believe that they have brainwashed us to believe that the height of life is to go on a holiday. When you think about the average person's beliefs, the average guy, you know, he works in a shitty career, then 50 weeks of the year, and he's allowed to take 2 weeks off when his boss, his daddy, tells him that he can go and like have fun in a different country. And the thing that he does in those 2 weeks, he books a holiday. But what I would say is, like, if I'm speaking to younger Hamza, he had in his mind for about 3 years this dream of being a digital nomad. And I would just ask him and say, like, why do you have that? Like, what do you think life is going to be when you're there? I was in a work mode. I wanted to work super hard and get results in my business. And I would go to the kind of place where that doesn't happen. When you are in like this focused work mode, flying around and like going to these nice like little places, bro, I'm going to say this again. No one's doing deep work in Thailand. It's just the way it is. No one's doing deep work there. In your own little home here, when you're focused in like an apartment in your own home country, you can grind away if this is the priority of your life right now. Go to those places when you actually want to kind of like rest off, when you specifically don't even care about business. You don't mind if the results go down a little bit. That's fine. But don't think to yourself, like as I did, that, yeah, I'll go to Thailand and, you know, I'll stay there for months and months and months and, you know, like business. It's like the environment isn't set up for you to be able to get more results there. It's just something which is, it's just the truth. I don't know. Now you can see I'm quite like negative towards traveling, but I will say that my advice for this is there is a certain kind of travel that I think is worth it for me. And so chances are, if you actually really enjoy traveling, you disagree with what I say, what I'm about to say will actually make your traveling still better anyway. So if I will travel for this, then it means that, you know, like, if you already enjoy traveling, this will just supplement to it. I believe that traveling for the sake of just like, hey, I'm in a different country is just weird and pathetic. I just don't see the point of that. But I think that traveling for your purpose, traveling to go and learn something is worth it. So for example, my purpose right now is not actually my work. I've kind of completed that layer. I feel like financially free. It's fine now. My purpose right now is to free my body. I've realized that like the next level of freedom that I want to get to is like my own body freedom, my physical freedom. It's like my joints are stiff. I fucking hate like how I feel in my body. It's nothing particularly bad. I don't have any injuries or anything, but it's only like now that I've got the space away from work and money that I'm actually realizing like my knees click when I squat down. I've got like, you know, sort of like a stiffness here. So I want to get all into yoga, but I also want to get all into cold exposure, the Wim Hof method. And the Wim Hof method is like, you'll go with instructors and climb up like mountains and stuff, and you'll like go shirtless and you'll do this breathing thing which will help you like release trauma and cold, you know, it sounds awesome, right? So I'm going to go and do an event with that. So it's like, I'm going to travel, I'm going to get the flight and everything, but there's a specific like learning event that I'm going for. I think traveling just for the sake of traveling and this idea of being a digital nomad, I don't think it's great. Every digital nomad I speak to or that I see, their results just plateau. You just don't get good results in business when you're being a digital nomad. You just don't. It's just a fact as it is. Don't be a digital nomad. Instead, work super hard at home in your environment where you can do that. And then if you want to go take a holiday where you don't even look at work for like a week or 2 weeks or even a month, that's fine. Don't think to yourself, like, yeah, I'll just take my laptop and I'll stay there all the time, because then it's like you're in this place which should be enjoyed, but here you are trying to cultivate like a deep work routine when there's like, you know, you're there hot and humid in this exotic country. It's not at all that it's cracked up to be. Go over to these countries for a specific reason. So for example, if I really wanted to, I don't think that, it's not my purpose or anything, but if my purpose became like, oh, I really want to learn about the Thai culture and I want to learn Muay Thai and get into a Muay Thai fight, then going to Thailand would be an amazing reason for that. But I would ask you not to cope and just to choose some random desire just because it sounded cool and, you really want to go to Thailand or Bali or whatever. And rather, I'd just say, just follow your purpose. If your purpose right now is pure just work and business and money, just stay where you can work the hardest. Don't consider going somewhere else where you're not going to work as hard and you're not going to have as great of a routine. If your purpose changes and it becomes to like learn a particular skill, then go where that skill is learned best. So part of my new purpose will be yoga, because I want to be able to get like really flexible and also to be able to actually like cultivate my breath through my entire body. So soon I'm going to go and move right next to like a yoga studio so I can go and train for hours a day. And if that involves traveling to a different country, then for like some kind of intensive yoga workshop, then I think that's an awesome reason to travel. I think traveling just for like no reason other than like, haha, like let's go to Thailand, let's go to Europe, guys. I just think it's just, what I found, I'm just gonna I know I'm gonna get loads of hate for this part of the video because people will just disagree, but I found that a lot of people's pursuit of traveling actually comes because of their addiction of dopamine. They just need more novelty. They need something new. It's like, oh, let's go to this place and let's go do something, like let's go drink and eat stuff there and like let's have sex with the girl that I'm going with. It's just dopamine after dopamine after dopamine. If you just sit still and just ask yourself, why am I considering going to these countries? If there's a great reason that arises, fine, but like I haven't really ever met anyone who's actually had such a great reason. Sometimes there is, for example, there's someone who wants to study the course of like some university in a particular place. Okay, fine. You want to move over maybe for taxes or something. Okay, fine. You want to like, move to try and see if this is the country that you want to raise your children. Sounds awesome. There's a particular event or learning or skill that you want to learn. Awesome. Digital nomad, like, oh, I want to move and just like, work on my laptop. It's terrible. It's so terrible. The reason why I'm saying this, even though I know so many people won't understand and their ears will just be closed off, I wish that someone spoke to younger Hamza like this, because I've wasted about 9 months of my life traveling just in the last few years. I've wasted 9 months in different countries when I was in a work mode anyway. If you're in a work mode, just stay where you work best. Remember, the travel industry is huge. And so their brainwashing is deep inside of your mind to a level that you don't even understand. It is totally like a normal belief for you that once you make money, you go to a different country. That might not even be your own authentic belief. You should question it. Just because it's what you see other people doing doesn't mean that it's actually for you. I'm not saying don't travel at all, don't go to a different country, but I'm just saying to have a great reason. The next level of spending is to free your loved ones. Honestly, it takes about $1,000 or $2,000 to take most of the stress away from your family. Like if I'm imagining that you're somewhat of like in the middle, your family aren't rich, but your family aren't like fully like ghetto, broke, poor, but somewhere around here, working class. If you were able to give your parents $1,000 or $2,000 a month, their cortisol would probably halve. Cortisol is like the stress hormone. If we like got a blood test, we'd be able to see a number for our cortisol. For our parents, it would probably be like above high if they're waking up sleep deprived, if they're working some shit job, they've been sleep deprived for about 10 years. Imagine that. You could see a number in their blood that shows their stress. If you gave them $1,000 or $2,000 a month, it gave them space to breathe and not need to like feel so scared of like, rushing and trying to save money, £1 here, $1 here. You'd actually see that cortisol number drop by like half with $1,000 a month. It's very powerful. It's like a very like low hanging fruit that you could use. They'd still have to work the current, the job. If you gave them like $1,000 a month, your parents probably wouldn't just stop working. They'd still work the same job, but it'd give them the space to breathe. Then if you give them about $3,000 or $4,000 or $5,000 a month, they could actually leave this job that they don't like, and that would free up their time to actually find like what kind of person they are. And this is a very interesting experience, especially for our parents. Like for us, we've kind of come into adulthood with another understanding of money than our parents have, haven't we? We kind of understand a lot more about entrepreneurship. We understand that a little girl on TikTok can make more money than a doctor. Our parents don't know that. And so our parents have lived this life where they've worked like 40, 50, 60-hour weeks for the last few decades. They've got to a point where they don't even know themselves. They don't even know what they desire. Your dad doesn't even know his purpose. He hasn't felt his purpose in decades. So it's very easy to improve their life and to give them, not even improve their life, but to give them life. Their life has been kind of like a mule, like a donkey, just like a slave to you. And you really see like how your father and your mother have lived. For most young men, it's kind of like they've worked as slaves for you. And when you're able to free them, they're able to become like human beings again. And suddenly, when you do get to this point when you're able to give them a few thousand a month, you'll see that they had interests and hobbies that they've wanted to do for decades that they weren't able to do because they needed to prioritize working to support for you. And so it was at this point when I basically retired everyone that my dad went all in on cricket, and he became the cricket team captain. And he practices every day, and he really like enjoys it. I assume it's like the most important part of his life now. It's like, it feels like it's his purpose. He mentioned once that he wants to become like the umpire, like kind of like the referee in cricket. And that like, it just makes total sense. It's like, yeah, of course you would. You've liked cricket all your life. And for years he didn't play because he had to work 16 hours a day. So he gets to go and pursue something he actually loves. And when you do that, it's like this sad bliss feeling, like kind of like how you feel when you think about Minecraft. It's like it's loving, but it's also sad at the same time, because you think, damn, like you really like lived your life for me, didn't you? Fuck. It's a very sweet experience when you can just give enough to your parents that they don't need to work some shit job that they don't care about. It's crazy to think that their entire lives have been structured to just make money for you. They've been on this purpose layer, like this grind of making money, and they've not even like fulfilled it. They were just able to maintain for the last few while, and with the money that you make and give to the family, you're able to put them into the positive, which is really nice. You feel awesome. You instantly get respect from everyone in your family. You'll notice that at this point, the family arguments cut down by about 90%, especially with you. Like no one ever really argues with you, and you're the one like essentially paying for everything, paying for every family member. No one argues with you anymore. No one, this isn't to say that you become an asshole, but rather like your family like lose a lot of the tension, and you realize that a lot of like the arguments and hostility you may have had as a family were actually just down to like financial reasons, and that stops, which is just so awesome to see. The next level of spending, so the better level of spending, level 3, is learning skills. I've actually put learning skills above freeing your family. So as in learning skills is higher ROI. The reason why is because you are the money maker, and anything we can do to improve your ability to make money means that you've got more to give to other people. So this is kind of like the saying of like, you've got to fill your cup before filling the cups of others. If the plane's crashing, you have to put on the oxygen mask on you first instead of others. Even though we'd like to be that sort of heroic guy who saves the other person, you can't save the other person if you pass out. So it's like, you can't keep providing for your family if you don't continuously level up your skills. Otherwise, you know, the nature of business is that everyone's getting better, everyone's growing because of how lethal entrepreneurs are becoming. If you don't invest in your skills, someone else will overtake you, and the money you can give to your family goes down. So the priority isn't actually to give money to your family. The priority is to use money to actually help you develop more. It doesn't sound as cool, but it is actually more of a long-term play. There's a really interesting concept I want to walk you through. The first 10 to 20 hours of learning a skill, you will literally get to the point where you've about 80% mastered it. So a master is someone who's done 10,000 hours, 20,000 hours. In 20 hours, you get about 80% of the way there. So if we take 3 guys and put them onto a basketball court, one guy has never learned anything about basketball. He's a complete beginner. This is his first session. The other guy has had 20 hours of a coach giving him instructions on like how to throw the ball. And the other guy is a professional NBA, 10,000 hours, whatever, right? He's been playing since he was 4 years old, right? And we ask him, okay, take this ball, throw it into the hoop 100 times. The professional will get it in, what do you think? Maybe about 99, 98, 90, something like that, right? High 90s, right? The complete beginner who's never had any practice would probably get it in maybe about like 20 times. But you know, the guy who's had 20 hours of practice, he would get it in about 80, 85 times. He got like not that far, like about 10%, 15% less than the actual master who's played for literally 100 times or 1,000 times more hours. You can imagine the difference, like that's fucking huge, right? You can literally get to like 80 out of 100 of like this free throw in only 20 hours. You get most of the gains in 20 hours because you learn so much in those first few hours, but only if there's one condition which is met. There's one vital condition to learning, and this is why it's something we need to spend money on. You specifically need a teacher. You specifically need a coach. You need someone who's more advanced than you, who's giving you feedback as you do the thing. You see, learning by reading books and watching videos like this is awesome, but the way that you learn like super fast, you know, that 20 hours where you get like 80% as good as a pro, is where you have a one-to-one teacher who's literally watching you whilst you do the thing. So imagine your trajectory of business now. You've watched this guide, you're using the principles, right? And you're going to make some progress, right? Imagine if I was there in the room with you for 20 hours watching you implement these actionable steps and watching you create your package, watching you create the YouTube video. Imagine if I was sat next to you whilst you were like creating a YouTube video and I could constantly keep like shouting out and saying, no, say it like this, do it like this, do it like this. These little bits of feedback, every single one would just kind of bump up your learning way more than the guy who might watch a YouTube video but isn't actually getting the feedback from an expert. This is how you put your learning on the fast track. And it's learning these skills that increases the ceiling to how much money you make, but also just how much progress you make in like all skills, even business or non-business related. The most powerful thing you can do for learning is to go and find a one-to-one teacher or a coach and pay them for about 10 to 20 hours of their time. This is such a high ROI. It's insane. The way that you'll go and find the teacher or coach, the way that I do it is I will read books on a certain topic. So for example, like storytelling. I tell stories at the start of every one of my videos, don't I? I'll go and find a good storytelling book, find one that is actually helping me, that I like, you know, the author is writing in a way that resonates for me. I use the advice and it works. And then I literally just go and contact the authors. Like you can contact authors, you know, like people who write books. You can literally just search their name on Google and most of them actually do coaching. So that's how I've found coaches myself. I find an awesome book and I literally just Google the author's name and find their website and then just send them an email saying like, I want to do some one-to-one coaching. Do you offer that? And most of them already do because someone else has already mentioned them. So I have two coaches just for YouTube. I have a storytelling coach and a speech coach, like someone who helps me speak better. And I literally just messaged them and just got their hourly rate. Okay. Then I said, can we do 10 hours? Can we do 20 hours? And they agreed. And we just hop on video calls once a week or twice a week. And I literally like share my YouTube script, like the video script live, and live they'll like watch me type in what I'm about to say for, you know, the point I'm using, and they'll give me feedback on that. So I have a new mindset when it comes to learning skills. I don't even like learn unless I can go and get a one-to-one teacher. So if, for example, there's something I want to do, like right now I want to do yoga. It feels like my purpose to, you know, free my body and stuff. I'm not going to do it just yet. I'm waiting for the next few days because I'm going to soon go and like move close to the yoga place. I'm not even going to go and practice it by myself just yet. This is like a very like privileged little stubborn place to be. But in my perception, it's like, it's almost a waste of time to learn a new skill if you can afford to just go and get a teacher. So there's like 3 levels. One would be, for example, you read or you watch a YouTube video, let's say on yoga, right? So you're watching the stretch routine and you practice it yourself. The next thing would be when you go physically to like a class, or you go to a yoga class and there's you and like 5 or 10 students and the yoga teacher. And for the entire lesson, maybe he comes up to you once and tells you like one bit of feedback. Okay, do this thing. Then the ultimate lesson is when you just do a one-to-one and it's literally you and the teacher. And he tells you in that hour, like 20, 50 different things that you can do to improve. It's those bits of feedback. That is actually how you learn. Just doing the thing gives you some progress, but it's the feedback that actually puts your learning on steroids. And you can mix this with traveling. So you can go and see if there's like intensive workshops, events that you can go and attend. Maybe there's some for business. Maybe there's some for like even weightlifting or something. You go to these events and it's usually like an intensive training day where they'll have a teacher who will give you a bunch of advice. So the Wim Hof method has like these travel with instructors or these advanced workshops that you can go travel to, and you'll have someone who's like a pro who will watch you get into like an ice bath and tell you the way to breathe. Alex Hormozi talks about this a lot, that spending money on leveling up your skills is one of the highest ROIs you can get. So go ahead and don't be scared of buying like the one-to-one coaching, personal training, courses, workshops, events, mentorship, communities, all these like random things, courses and everything. Don't be scared of investing in your education and in your skills, because these these often have the highest ROIs. And again, this is exactly what we have in ADONIS School. Just let me just sell you ADONIS School just quick. You can skip 30 seconds if you want, but I think this is really interesting. The way that ADONIS School works is that everyone joins, they pay the joining fee, then they pay $99 a month after that, and you only pay $99 a month, like recurring, right? But the more students that we get, the more money that I'm making, the more that I'm putting it back inside of ADONIS School. So before we know it, we've got 5 teachers, we've got 6 teachers, like these live coaches, teachers who are experts in their field. So our students are only paying $99 a month, but they're getting access to like 5 different teachers. And my goal is to get that to more like 10 teachers, so that with your same $99 a month membership, you've got access to so many different teachers and like 3 calls a day, which usually you'd be paying like hundreds per call. And because of the way the business model works, if you can wrap your mind around that, the business model is really positive, because all the money that these students are paying goes to me. I'm able to hire these teachers for a few grand a month to give, 1 or 2 calls a week, for example. But the students are only paying $99 a month. For me, for my coaches, it's like $250 per hour that I pay. And yet the students are getting access to like 5 teachers for $99 a month. So it's a very positive feedback loop if you're interested in that. And we've got teachers for business, for sleeping, for masculinity, for finding your purpose, spirituality. ADONIS School is the top link in the description. The next level of spending money is spending to improve your health. You've heard so much, and you've probably said it yourself, that health is the priority. Maybe your big focus right now is your work, money, fitness, whatever it is. With your health, you do everything better. And I can't help but think about the time where my health drastically got worse. You don't often hear of like a young guy tell you this, do you? But there's been like 2 moments of my life where I'll tell you about both of them, okay? In 2020, early 2020, January, February, I had been living like a degenerate for the last like 9 months. I had been smoking weed every single day. I had been like in this relationship with this girl that I was living with, who I didn't even trust or like or want to be with, but I was so afraid of breaking up with her. And we lived together. I was eating junk food every single day. And then when COVID started and the lockdown happened, then I stopped exercising completely. And literally all I was doing was just indulging, watching content, watching movies, smoking weed, playing video games and everything. And I remember my mental health getting like really, really bad. Really bad, that I couldn't help but get negative thoughts all the time. Like I'd wake up and I'd smoke first thing in the morning. I'd be fapping. I'd go and like sit on the toilet and literally just like scroll and look at like Instagram girls and fap, like literally within the first hour, like as part of my morning routine. Playing video games for hours. Like my girlfriend this girl I was living with, she was like a gamer girl, like alongside me, so we both used to play. And it was just so depressing. Like there was nothing that was happening. There was no growth, no progress, nothing productive that we were doing. And I remember just my mental health was just so bad. Then my girlfriend got a message from my father. He wanted to message me, but I had him and the rest of my family blocked for the last year. For 1 whole year, like my family weren't able to contact me because we had like a massive argument, and I realized like, I hated them and everything. And so I blocked them all, kept on deleting their numbers, they'd message me with like a new number. I kept on blocking it. And eventually she receives a message from my father saying that they're just worried about me and that they wanted to let me know that my brother was getting married. And honestly, it hit me like a ton of bricks. Here I was with pure anxiety and depression for the last like year. But life moves on. I felt so horrible, and I was like stressed and anxious and so sad and depressed. And not to mention that then when COVID did happen, it was like the most stressful period of my life, because I was working in a homeless accommodation shelter. And I was like helping one of the guys there to like not be like on the street homeless. And that was like super stressful for me. I remember I would literally like wake up in the middle of the night, drenched, like wet in sweat. Like literally imagine you got a water bottle and poured it. There was fully like the bed would be soaked because of how stressed I was. So it's sleepless nights. And I don't blame her for this, but like she used to get pissed off at me because I'd be so like wet and uncomfortable at nighttime and everything. And so she'd be like pushing me away. And it was a very like, lonely time, and I never contemplated suicide, but I don't think I would have been like that far from the point of like where those thoughts would have come into my mind. And self-improvement really saved me there. And the next time where my health was really bad, it was in late 2022, this year just gone. I had moved from like the countryside of the UK, and we moved directly to London, and it was like really overwhelming for me. I've never lived in like the big city before. I'm quite like a natural, simple guy, so I live in like a town next to families and schools and everything. But I thought, oh yeah, business is booming, I'm making, lots of money and stuff, let's go get an apartment in London, because that's what you're supposed to do when you move out and stuff. And it was just instantly like just very overwhelming, like dizzying. It's not for me. And then from that point, I decided to move to Dubai, and that's when things got so much worse. Before I know it, I was waking up every single day with a headache, every single day with like nosebleeds. I track my my health. I'm not wearing it right now, but I usually have like a Whoop strap on or an Aura ring. And you literally saw all my health stats just go like that in those months that I moved over to Dubai. Super stressful time. Business isn't doing so well. Relationship with my girlfriend's falling apart. It was like a horrible time. When your health isn't ideal, you can't even do anything else, even if work is your priority. With poor health, it takes you away from work. When you have a woman that you love with poor health, you turn into an asshole towards her. You can't be productive, you can't be focused, your brain doesn't work as well. And so any money that you can spend to improve your health is really high ROI. So I want to tell you specifically some products. I'm not going to like link affiliate links or anything. I'm just going to mention them to you, products that have really helped me. The 8 Sleep is a very expensive product. It's like $2,000. It's like a mattress topper that regulates your temperature. And it just means that like you'll sleep better because your mattress normally will be like too warm. With this, it's like an AI system that like, tracks your body heat and then perfectly aligns your temperature to it. It's $2,000, so it's unaffordable for most people. But as you begin to make more money, if you want to invest in your sleep, this will improve your sleep by like 10-20%. Every night that you sleep on it. Maybe a higher quality mattress. Like the 8 Sleep is like a mattress topper, but an actual higher quality mattress. I went to one of those local, like the big stores, Dream or whatever it was. I went there and they like literally like, you just go into like, I'm looking for a new mattress. This is the size that I want. And with a lot of these like big mattress companies, they'll make you go into like some scanner thing where you just like pretend to sleep and they'll find out which one's perfect for you. And the lady showed me around like a bunch of beds, let me try them on, and there was one that fit just perfectly. And my sleep has improved since then. And even pillows, like, be honest, are you sleeping on the same shitty pillow from the last like years and years, and you know that it's not even that nice, but you just keep procrastinating, getting a different one, trying one out, spending a day and maybe $100 or something to go try out like a bunch of pillows to the one that you find that is absolutely perfect. Your sleep's going to improve by like 5% straight after that. And then I have a bunch of supplements. I have this subscription supplement, which is called Bionic. And they do a blood test, and then they find out which like nutrients you need, and then they just send it to you every month. So I've got like a bunch of bottles over there. I've got some premium fish oil as well, probiotics, also higher quality food. I get all of my food delivered. I don't like go to the grocery store or anything. I don't even buy from grocery stores because that's like, no offense, it's like normal mediocre people food when you go to like a normal grocery store. So I buy my stuff directly from the farms. I only eat like single ingredients. And so from the farms who have like the pasture fed cows, I buy their beef, it gets delivered to my house. You can do this in the UK. You can just search like farms near me, and usually they've got websites where they'll literally come and like deliver you meat fresh directly from them, and cutting out the middleman of the supermarket where they put in all the extra like processing, packaging, everything. You can even find the farms who won't even make their meat touch plastics or anything like that, so there's less estrogens. The farms that promise no hormones, everything like that. So it isn't that much more expensive. Like my steak cost me like £8, You go to like a cheap grocery store, it's probably like $5 or £6 or something. It's not that much more expensive, but my health has improved significantly because of that. Also, talking about estrogenics, I've mentioned a few times on my videos what they are. Estrogenics are like these plastics and chemicals in the environment which mimic estrogen and essentially like fuck up your health as a man. It's estrogen, so you get bitch titties and everything. It lowers your testosterone, your fertility, and it's all around you. It's all in, like, it's in your drinking water. It's in the plastics that you touch. And so with money, you can afford to buy like estrogen-free products. Like, for example, I don't use like any kind of normal skincare products or tooth paste or anything like that, shower stuff. All of my stuff is like estrogenic-free. I also have a reverse osmosis water filter installed into my house. It's not as complicated as it seems, but if you go onto Amazon and search for RO, reverse osmosis water filter, you'll see that they're like a few $100s, and you might need to like pay someone I don't know, I think my dad did it for me, but like you might need to like pay someone like $50 to come around. That again is like, that's going to filter out the water, so you're not drinking water that's got estrogenics in, so like your testosterone's not being affected, because tap water is not even like safe to drink. How fucked is that? People don't even know this. And for $500 you can save yourself. When you live with your woman and you want to get pregnant with and have a child with her, you know she's drinking like poisoned birth control water. Think about how mad this is. There's literally like birth control hormones, you know, the pill that women take, a lot of women take every day. That's not filtered out from the water system. And so when you drink tap water, that's literally like, it's not filtered out. So you're drinking fucking birth control, which is fucking up your health. When your woman drinks it when she's pregnant with your child, she's drinking birth control while she's pregnant. Your child is in her stomach and she's drinking the diluted version of the pill that women take to not be able to have children. $500 to potentially save a fucking miscarriage? That's a high ROI. You can see why I think this is one of the best ways to spend money, is make sure your health is top tier. Health coaches as well, you can go find like online PTs and everything kind of related to like the skill section, but you can go find some teachers and some coaches who will literally look after your sleep. They'll track it, like, you know, they'll get all the data from like you wearing the ring, and they'll tell you, okay, yeah, try this, try drinking this tea, let's see the stats and everything. That can be powerful. And even private healthcare. In the UK, we have the NHS, but it's not very good. And so I only go private. I had a surgery recently for varicocele. Like, I had this thing, which you might even have, which is like the veins in your testicles are like too big, and it causes like too much heat, which lowers testosterone and fertility. And to get an appointment with the NHS would have taken like 6 months. You pay private, pay £4,000. The surgery's next week. Very powerful. And level 5, the best use of money possible, in my opinion. Saving time. Spending money to save your time is the highest ROI thing, because with your time, then you can do everything else. So all of the other levels here are unlocked when you've got the free time to pursue them. So this is literally the priority. Any money you can spend to save your time is very powerful. And I realized this as I was becoming an entrepreneur. In 2019, when I was playing with this idea of becoming an entrepreneur, I realized what I was going to do. I was going to save up some money and invest that, but not in real estate, not in like, you know, the stocks or crypto or any bullshit like that, but rather just keep it in my bank account and essentially view it as an investment for the next like 3 months of runway, so I didn't need to work a job. Mark my words when I say this. This is going to sound weird, but because no one else has said this before, but mark my words. The greatest investment that you could possibly make is saving up a couple of months of expenses and then being able to quit your job and give yourself some runway so that you can go and start a business. The greatest investment is one in your time. This doesn't sound as cool of like an investment as real estate, but if you save up like £2,000 and you don't need to work for the next like 6 months because you live at home with family, so you've got like no expenses, you've just given yourself 6 months of life. Can you comprehend that? You've just given yourself 6 months of life, of like 40 hours or 50 hours a week, including commutes, just gone. You don't need to work that anymore. For any guys out there who are working full-time at a job that they hate, this is the greatest move they could pull, is save up a few £1,000s. Just move back to your parents if you need to. Save up like 6 months worth of your bills and literally just go all in on your business. Don't work a normal shitty job. Just go all in on your business for like 6 months. To save your time, you can also get services like meal prep. So I had one where they would deliver it to me like every week, and there'd be like 20 meals. I'd have like 3 a day or something. And that means that you don't need to go shopping for groceries because it gets delivered to you and you just, choose the one that you want on the website. It means that you don't even need to cook because you just put it in the oven for like 15 minutes instead of you needing to like chop things or prepare things. It's literally just ready to go in the oven. And it even means you don't even need to clean up because the little cardboardy like thing, that like the bowl of it, you just throw it away afterwards. There's no cleaning up with the washing up liquid or anything like that. It will literally save you about 500 hours a year. That's fucking huge. Hiring people to do things so that you don't need to do them will also save you time. The best hire that I can think of for you, it's going to sound super odd, it's to hire a sibling, specifically a sibling or a family member who lives in your home. Because if you, like, the conventional advice people will say is like, oh yeah, hire a personal assistant. But there's a lot of friction to that. You don't even know how it works. It's a bit complicated. Do you want to give them your card details? But if you hire your sibling and you literally say to your sibling, like, save me time and I'll give you a few £100s a month, they'd probably do it. Or maybe your father would probably do it, right? And it means that they could do all your chores for you. It means that they can even look at your emails and make sure if there's anything important, they send it to you. If it's not important, you don't even ever look at your emails. Like, I haven't been on my emails in about 2 years now. My sister, for example, she even does like some of the YouTube stuff. So when my videos are done, she'll schedule it for me. So it saves me a few minutes there. My water bottles, she'll literally just walk into my room, take my water bottles, go and fill them up and bring them back up again. Minutes here, minutes here, minutes here. She checks my emails, even my post, she'll open it as well. And like, if it's something important, she'll come give it to me. If it's not, I don't need to see it. It sounds odd, but it's like paying your siblings or one of your family members, maybe even your mother or something, and just telling them like, I just want to focus on my business as much as possible. If you can save me 10, 20, 30 minutes a few different times in the day, if you can just make the food and literally bring it up to me, if when I want like a cup of tea or coffee, you would just make it and it wouldn't feel kind of weird between us for you being my servant or anything, but you would be like happy to do it to kind of support me. Just do that. I think specifically hiring like a family member is valuable because they're already in the house. They get this intimate level where like, a personal assistant online can do some emails and stuff, but a sibling in your house can literally like hoover your room and can get your clothes ready and can fill up your water bottles and save you 5 minutes here, 10 minutes here, 5 minutes here. That sounds like small amounts. This is how you get to the next level. You prioritize your time. You put your time into your business to do those deep work tasks. You can also invest in a home gym. You don't need a full-on setup. All you actually really need is 2 kettlebells. So I just went on Amazon. I searched for kettlebells. I got 20 kg and I literally just did like an 8-minute workout every day instead of doing my normal like 1.5 hour routine and you need to get ready and go to the gym and everything. The most progress I've ever made in business was earlier this year when I stopped going to the gym and all I was doing was like those home workouts, quick 5-10 minutes a day, and then back to work again. And you might be wondering about the actual investments. So people talk about crypto and real estate and stocks. I've always had a very different opinion about that. And I'll just give you mine. You might want to take someone else's advice, but this is what served me well. I don't think it's worth looking into investing money like real estate because when you become a businessman, the truth is that the highest ROI you're going to get is first of all on yourself, like on these levels, saving time, health and everything, right? And your skills. But after that, it's like just spend more money on your business. The highest ROI you're going to get is if you just hire more people, spend more money on your business, pay for like advertisements, learn those things. It's such a higher ROI than just buying it, like what your parents would suggest or what some YouTuber tells you. Like, yeah, our real estate's so awesome and this is so awesome. You know why? Because the best investment advice that I have seen online so far is to invest in the things that you actually know. Too many young people are being told, like, yeah, invest in stocks, invest in real estate. Be honest, bro. Do you really understand real estate? Do you really understand like the infrastructure of a house, what materials it's made, if it's triple glazed or quadruple glazed windows and how much that will change its ability to sell 10 years from now? Do you really understand like the market of like a city? If you do, fair enough. But for most guys, it's like, you probably don't. And you're probably just thinking like, oh, but I thought, I could just rent it out and, every year the price goes up, right? I don't think that's a good idea because do you really want to be powerless in your investments? You buy a house, if your whole country's market goes down, like you didn't get any control of that. You buy a stock or index funds and other people are controlling the price of it. crypto, it's like nobody fucking knows like what the hell's happening with the price of crypto. But with your own business, you reinvest in that. You look for ways that you could spend money in your own business, and you can forcefully make your business worth more. So to date, even though I make like a fair amount of money, I'm not even considering any kind of normal investments, just putting it back into the business. Why invest in real estate when you've got a business and you've got all that extra shit to think about, like where's the house? And it's kind of new dopamine where it's like, oh yeah, I'm going to make so much money. House prices always go up, but then you have to go and find the house. Then you've got to go and find like the way to rent it out. And you've got like these people coming into the house and they've made some damages and this and this. And here you are literally like, you've got this business and you're spending more time literally fighting over the house, which you're getting like $700 a month in rent. Oh, but it goes up by like $30,000 a year. That's $3K a month, bro. By this point, when you can afford the house, your business is probably doing 10, 15, 20K a month. Why would you want to like deviate your attention away? I've never understood it. So I'm not going to advise you to get into normal investments like everyone else would. My advice to you is literally just keep investing back into your business.